Yes, people, and welcome back to the channel. It's myself, CultureCams. I hope you guys are ready for this discussion, man. Manchester City lose 4 games in a row. But first and foremost, guys, make sure you like, share, subscribe, turn the notifications on. We need that for the algorithm, man. Let's keep pushing the channel. The subscribers are flying. I appreciate all the support, of course. I promise you guys consistency. You guys told me that you will be there, and you have been. So I massively appreciate that, people. Gonna change up the setup soon as well. Gonna get some different camera, everything. So things are happening. But first and foremost, let's talk about the weekend, man. Listen, it's a big weekend. It's actually a big weekend. We've still got Chelsea and Arsenal. We still got Ruud van Nistelrooy's final game as the manager of the club, my favorite player of all time. But we have to start with the title. You see what it says in the title. You see what we're here for. I know what you're here for. Manchester City lose 4 games in a row. Quickly, I hope you guys check out Dos Locos last episode. Go and check that out with Fuad, man. Great episode. But back to it. Man City lose 4 games in a row, people. I'm going to say that again. Man City lose 4 games in a row. This is a record. Pep Guardiola has never lost 4 games in a row in his career at Man City. And I really doubt he did it at Barcelona, and I highly doubt he did it at Bayern Munich. A manager like that doesn't have these type of stains on his record. So when people saying, yo, well, Man City are just going to bounce back and they're going to go and win the league, how do we know? We have never seen them this bad. This isn't an opinion. This is a fact. This is the worst Manchester City have been in the Pep Guardiola reign. 4 losses in a row. Even the first Pep Guardiola team in 16-17, when he collected the club, they were not this bad. This is history. It sounds dramatic, but I'm only telling you guys facts right now. On the pitch, it looks a real mess. Pep Guardiola off the pitch, he looks stressed. I saw him talking about Jack Grealish. You saw him indirecting a couple players last week as well. On the bench, he's drinking his water. All of that. We're getting all the theatrics already. We're in November. Pep Guardiola is stressed. Manchester City players do not seem at ease either. I saw Bernardo Silva talking after they lost to Sporting. He said, everything is going wrong. We don't know what's going on. We don't know how to fix this right now. And that is clearly evident on the pitch right now, people. On the pitch, you can see Man City are not the same. Now, we're going to talk about why that is. Some people are going to say, oh, it's because Rodri's not playing this and that. And listen, first and foremost, actually, do you know what? Before I get into that, let's talk about the game. Brighton, in the first half, Man City were the better team. Same as Sporting game. Man City were the better team in the first half. And they're looking at it and probably thinking that, you know, maybe they could have been 2 goals, 3 goals up potentially. But I remember seeing this from Manchester City all the time. And then when the time comes, they will still dominate you and they will still win the game. It doesn't mean they should go off and lose. And, you know, I saw some City fans saying, well, we've been dominating the first half and we're unlucky in the second half. I fully disagree with that, because if you look at earlier in the season, there's been teams that should have punished Manchester City. Let's be real. Some teams really should have. I'm talking Fulham. I'm talking Brentford. I'm talking even Southampton had a one-on-one, I remember. I'm talking Wolves. Bournemouth could have hit them for 5. Man City have been on their knees this season. They're waiting. I'm telling you, they're waiting for the knockout blow. Somebody has to deliver it to them. Someone has to deliver it to them. And now teams are really starting to punish. They are starting to punish. João Pedro, a big shout out to him, because I'm a big fan of that player. I think he's someone that can play at a higher level. He reminds me a little bit of Gabriel Jesus. And now, listen, saying Gabriel Jesus now may not sound great, but once upon a time, Gabriel Jesus was actually a fantastic player, in my opinion. So when I look at someone like that, I see someone that can potentially make the step up. And I think clubs will be monitoring him, not only in the Premier League, but also in Europe, in my opinion. But yeah, so shout out Matt O'Reilly as well. You know, I'm happy for him. I've heard lots of good things. I'll be honest, I haven't watched too much of him, but I've heard lots of good things about people that follow Celtic have said a lot of good things about him. So when I'm looking at him, I'm buzzing for him after that injury that he had, I think, in his first 20 minutes at the club. So big respect to him scoring that goal. Looking at Rico Lewis for that, even both goals, when he made the slide. all over the place. And in the second one, he just lets Matt O'Reilly run off him. But we're going to speak about that, of course. So shout out Brighton, big respect. Shout out Haaland. He is doing a great job. I think I was one of the people that thought Brighton might have started dropping down a little bit, but he's still keeping that kind of De Zerbi kind of pace in a way. So big respect to him, only 31 years old. I'm sure he's getting bored of hearing about his age, similar to Will Still. Like, hey, he's only 30, but hey, it's incredible, man, when you actually think about it. If we're going to praise people like Lamine Yamal doing these things at 17, we have to praise a manager in the Premier League beating the best coach in the world at 31 years old. I mean, big respect to Brighton, man. They keep going. Welbeck rejuvenated himself. They just keep going. Let me quickly, before I speak about Man City, talk about Baleba. That guy is a player. Baleba is a player, and someone... Ruben Amorim. We need to be looking at a player like that. We need to be looking at a player like that. I'm somebody that often talks about Prem signings, sign in the league, sign players that you can see are already working out in the league. They don't need time to adjust. Instant impact. Boom. They get it going. I want Baleba at my club, man. Came on, looked at that featherweight midfield, handled it with ease. Was calm, strong, positioned great. What an impact he was, man. Baleba, top young player. Anyway, let's talk about Man City, because I know that's what you guys are all here for. Shout out Brighton, but where do we start? Firstly, let's talk about their goal. I know it got given as our own goal, but those are the areas that I want Erling Haaland receiving the ball if I'm a Man City fan. Those are the areas, as a football neutral or as a football lover, those are the areas you want to see Erling Haaland in. Running off, getting the ball quickly, he can cause damage. Should have finished better. His finishing this season is starting to go a little bit left, and last season. However, those are the areas you want him in. All these areas where he's just waiting around. Yeah. Long ball, please. Corner. Go. Yeah. Cross it. And that's not where you want him. He's proven to be the deadliest striker in the world when he's on the move. When he's on the move, he'll cause havoc, man. Credit to him for even getting up and going again to try and score that goal. But that's where Erling Haaland needs to be getting the ball. And another time he got the ball down the side, tried to put a ball across, which he probably should have made stick. But those are where you want to see Haaland. I don't want to see Haaland just in the box. I want to see him running off the left, peeling off the left. You want to see him have a yard. And that's why I say sometimes, and I'm going to talk about it, I think City need to relieve themselves of having the ball. Play on the counter-attack. You have the deadliest forward in the world in transition. You know, so when I look at that, I'm just like, those are the areas you want him in, and that's where he'll score multiple amount of goals, as he always does. But anyway, he got chalked off for an own goal. So, a completely terrible night for him at Man City. But let's talk about what everyone's talking about. Rodri's missing. This is why he won the Ballon d'Or. His importance to Man City. He's so key. I fully agree that Rodri is the most important Manchester City player. I mean, that's obvious. If you've been watching football for the last 3 years, you'll know that his importance to the team is second to none. There's no one. KDB can miss games. Foden can miss games. Haaland can miss games. Name it. Diaz, Edison. It doesn't matter. If Rodri's missing, there's a big problem. But now I want to talk about the wider thing. I kind of think people are using this, though, as a cop-out. I think people are afraid to talk about Pep Guardiola. I think people are afraid to criticize Pep because he's such a successful manager, which is fully understand. If you watch any of my content, I say champions respect all the time. But you mean to tell me Man City's whole system is just Rodri? Man City's whole system is just one man. So any game they lose, oh, Rodri. Guys, I'm here to be consistent. On CultureCams, I'm here to be consistent. When Arsenal lost Saliba and they had to play Rob Holding, and Arsenal fans said, hey, we are having to play Rob Holding, who, by the way, got 0 minutes at Crystal Palace in title deciders. Everybody told them, shut up, stop complaining. You're not the only team to have an injury in the world. Give it a rest, man. You should be able to get through it. Arteta should find a solution. Just put this person here, put that person there, and go and win the league. When Liverpool lost Van Dijk, despite having bare other injuries, by the way, but Van Dijk was often the one that was spoken about. When Liverpool lost Van Dijk, people told them, shut up, man. Cope, man. What? Your season only relies on Van Dijk. Klopp, man. People were looking at Klopp. People were looking at Arteta. Why is nobody looking at Pep Guardiola when Manchester City lose all these games without Rodri? Because last I remember, they signed a backup DM, Calvin Phillips. Got 0 games, who was a good player, by the way, at Leeds. Now, I'm not saying he would have been the solution, but he was a good player at Leeds, signed him as a backup, basically amounted to absolutely nothing, sold him, and City have no replacement. That's on the squad building. So we're either looking at Cechny and Khaldoon and Soriano and all these type of guys, or we're looking at Pep Guardiola coaching-wise. For me, Pep Guardiola, in this particular moment, as hard as it may be, he deserves criticism. He deserves criticism. And I was speaking to Liaz, and Liaz said, so what would the solution be? What would you say? Because he's tried everything. He might have put Núñez in midfield for a little bit. He's had Gundogan, he's got Rico Lewis, he's got Kovacic. Flimsy players. Very flimsy players. So for me, I'm no Pep Guardiola, I'm no coach. But when I'm looking at it, I'm like, why is it we're just going to say, oh, well, that's Pep. That's Pep. For me, it's matters how they set themselves up off the ball. Off the ball, Man City are so bad at the moment because they're always on the ball. They want to dominate. As soon as transitional moments, they can be got at. Their defense is, teams are running at their defense with ease, despite their defense being very bad this season. Very, very bad. Guardiola can hold his head up high a little bit. The rest of them, very bad. But then if you know you're missing a Ballon d'Or winner and it's affecting your system, then sometimes be more compact. Drop your line a bit deeper. I'm seeing one-on-ones versus Manchester City every single game. One-on-ones. Not, oh, a cross has come in and a guy gets a header. No, one-on-ones. Drop your line 5 yards. Drop your line 7 yards, 10 yards. Drop the midfield a couple yards. Protect that base. Be a little bit more compact. If a team has to have the ball and you set up in banks of 4, why not? There's no shame in that. Sometimes you've got to adapt. Sir Alex Ferguson done that many times. We had to adapt. We couldn't always be attack. We had to adapt our ways. Sometimes we relieve the ball. Sometimes we dominate the game. Sometimes I think these are things that maybe usher teams wider, make teams play wider, you know? So their threats are coming in from crosses. So all of a sudden now you've got your guys in the box that can head the ball away. But the fact that every single game we are just watching teams run at Manchester City with ease, and then we're just saying, oh, it's because Rodri's not there. I'm sorry, that's a coaching issue. That's a coaching issue. And again, yes, it's Pep Guardiola. It's Pep Guardiola. So sometimes we're going to be like, oh, we don't want to criticize him. But we can only be fair here, people. We have to go on what we are seeing. It's very flimsy. And as I said before, the quality of Manchester City each season is declining. Trying to just throw on KDB to hope something happens. It doesn't really even look like with a plan. It's just like I get on and hope KDB can produce some magic. The quality of the team is declining. The attack is declined. I was having a conversation with somebody on Twitter and he showed me their windows lately. And not only that, he was talking about their attack before. Raheem Sterling, Mahrez, Sane, Aguero. Yeah, moved on. It moved on a little bit. They brought in a couple more players. But however, now when I'm looking at it, Doku, Jack Grealish, Savio and Haaland, Bernardo's not going to get you goals. Barely even gets you assists. Savio is still showing just flashes. Doku, again, flashes. Jack Grealish, he's losing his way at the moment. Not sure where he is at the moment. There seems to be something going on. I don't know. But he's getting injuries as well. Manchester City are not as potent as they used to be. Phil Foden, his impact at the moment is very minimal. He's looking like a kid out there. He's looking like Rico Lewis in that out there. Now I'm looking at it, and of course they were missing some centre backs as well. But everyone deals with injuries. Everyone has to deal with injuries. Man United had 65 injuries last season. We still wanted Ten Hag gone. You know, Arsenal have had injuries. Odegaard's been missing. Saka was missing. People have injuries. You got to deal with it. Gabriel had suspension. Rice had whatever. I think Man City are just even. And the thing what I don't like is that people are going on as if when Rodri was there, Man City were formidable. When Rodri and KDB were fit at the start of the season, yes, City were winning, but it was still quite. It wasn't feeling like vintage City. And then we'll give them the benefit of doubt that they'll kick on later in the year, which they still might do. However, it does feel a little different this time. It does feel a little different because before I felt like their quality of player was always there, like still high. But now I'm looking at it and I'm like, I don't think the quality of City is as high as it's been. I think it's one of the lowest quality cities at the moment. One of the lowest qualities. I think, let me think about it properly. I actually think, yeah, you could argue, yeah. I think this might be the lowest quality since in his time there. Honestly, it's actually very, very scary what's going on with them at the moment. But for me, when I look at it, what they have to do is just be calm, be calm, be calm, because they're not out of the title race at the moment. They are not out of it. It's not over. However, they need to pick it up quickly, very, very quickly, man. This league is unforgiving. But again, I'm looking at Arsenal. I'm looking at Liverpool. If nobody delivers Man City the knockout blow in this particular moment, then the Premier League, honestly, we need to start questioning it. Man City look ready for the taking. Somebody has to take this opportunity, whether it's Arsenal, whether it's Liverpool, or could there be a surprise? I'm not saying Chelsea will, but who knows? Who knows what could happen? Somebody has to capitalize on this. Because you probably won't get a weaker City. Because in the summer and probably even January, don't be surprised if they go and get a Zubamendi. Don't be surprised in January they go and try and get in the summer they try and get a Musiala. They try and get a Florian Wirtz. They really try and revamp the team, spend some cash, really throw their money around. Let's not be surprised. Of course, a lot of it comes down to what Pep Guardiola is going to do in the future. Is he still going to be the manager? Is he going to renew? We don't know. Does he want to leave in a way where they don't win the league, or does he want to leave on top? We don't know. A lot of questions for City at the moment. What does it mean for? Is this potentially KDB's last season? Like, what? I think there's going to be a shake-up at City. Haaland wants to sign a new deal. Is he going to sign? We don't know. Is he signing it? Apparently, he's going to put a release clause in there. I think a lot is going on at City at the moment. They need to revamp that defense a little bit. Man, individually, there's people letting themselves down. Collectively, people like Bernardo, have they reached the limit of their tenure here? Is Rico Lewis a mainstay in the team, or is he always going to be like an impact kind of sub, like just plug and play? I think there's a lot of questions for Man City, man. But guys, let me know in the comments what you lot think. Are Man City in trouble? Is this the worst City that you have seen? What do you think the solution is? Do City have to jump in the market in January? Let me know. I'm super interested, man. But listen, don't want to run you guys' time too much. It's myself, CultureCams, of course. Hit the likes, share, subscribe, man. FCM will be out on Sunday evening after Chelsea Arsenal, so make sure you lot are there. Oh, man. I've been enjoying being back, man. I've been enjoying being back just on my own platform. It's been good, man. And guys, hit the likes, man. Let's get that algorithm going, man. And even if you don't want to do it, just drop a comment. Let's keep this moving. Anyway, peace.